call is when a transplant patient on the organ transplant waiting list receives notification that a match has been made. Two teams are involved. There's a team that stays with the donor and the donor's organ, and there's also a team that begins working on the transplant patient. In some cases, the organ will travel to where the transplant patient is. You've probably seen the coolers. Yeah. So in other cases, the transplant patient will actually go to where the organ is. So I know at least one case where it was a child recipient that had to fly to Florida to meet her organ. The United Network for Organ Sharing, or UNOS, is a private nonprofit that is contracted by the US government to manage the US transplantation system. They actually have a really great information-rich website, and you could actually search the transplant waiting list. So it doesn't give patient information, but it gives a lot of other very interesting statistics, and it's an interesting read. Not necessarily. A great deal of things can happen after the gift is made. So in certain cases, the donation may be found unsuitable. In other cases, the patient might actually be too sick or ill to receive the transplant, in which case it would have to be called off. What a number of hospitals do in transplant centers is they actually name a primary and a secondary transplant patient, so that when a match is made, the primary would be first in line, and if for some reason something happens, they would go to the secondary candidate. That wasn't the practice at my husband's transplant hospital, which quietly made me glad, because that's a lot of stress. It's already a difficult time, and that kind of adds an extra dimension to it. Well, my husband actually didn't get the call because he was already in the hospital. He was recovering and was actually going to be discharged that day. He got something better. He got a bedside visit by the surgical team that told him the news. I actually didn't hear from him. His transplant coordinator called me at my office, and it was the one time that I didn't answer the phone. So she was calling office phone, cell phone, office phone, until finally I picked up. I thought it was about his discharge, but in fact the news was quite different, and we were jubilant. So as you might imagine, I got right in the car and I drove right up there to his transplant hospital. As you may imagine, for transplant patients, there is no day better than when you get the call. It's a second life. And my husband was lucky enough to receive that call. So for those who are on the waiting list, I wish you hope and send you love. And for those who are interested in learning a little bit more about my husband's story, you could read it in the book. And it takes less than 1 minute to save a life. Please take a moment to go to registerme.org to register yourself for the National Donate Life Registry. Thank you.